Hi juicers, and welcome back to the third video in the SEO 101 for Creative Businesses online workshop. And today we are going to talk about how to put SEO on your actual website. And there's a lot that you can do to help your website and your web pages be seen on Google, obviously. And what you're going to include, and what we're going to talk about in specifics here, and I'll show you examples. We're going to talk about how you can add SEO to your page title, to your page description. Sometimes that's called the meta description. How to add a unique URL or website address. And also, obviously, you're going to be using your keywords in all of that. So how the keywords come into play yet again in this SEO. You can't get away from those keywords. Here's an example of web page SEO. You see here how when you're doing a Google search, and this is obviously familiar to you because everybody's done a Google search, this is actually what was like the cool gifts for pet lovers that can't be found elsewhere. That is the SEO that was created for that website. And obviously it's done pretty well. This is actually an advertisement. But when you do the SEO on your web pages, you are doing it in a way that it's going to show just like this. So if you don't pay attention to it, you can imagine how goofy that might look. Your web page might be like home practice 1 or home page, and that is not relevant to anybody doing a search. You want to use all of your SEO and your keyword knowledge and make sure that it's input in all of these. So you look professional so people find you. We know all the good reasons for that. Let's talk about the SEO on the page title. This is where you're going to see the page title. Now, I had done a Google search on how to, I think I was looking up like art retreats or something like that. You can see how each business listed their title slightly differently, but all of them were very helpful. I bet I looked up art workshops because each one of them has art workshops, 2017 art workshops, a complete guide, painting artist workshops in Tuscany, Italy, and France. All of these have very important keywords, and you can tell pretty much by their title what you are going to get if you click on that link. Let's do a couple tips here, and then we'll do but wait, there's more on the description. So good ideas on your page title. You want to make sure that you choose a highly searchable and relevant focus keyword for your page. Put that focus keyword at the beginning of the title of your page. And you may want to include your branding, like your company name, in each title. And of course, always make it sound human. Nobody wants to click on a robot projected text, and make it interesting so that the user wants to click on your link. The more people click on your links, the higher your SEO rating is and the higher you're going to appear in searches. So you want that to sound enticing and friendly and exactly tell them what they're going to get when they click on that link. So let's go a little bit further. We're going to go into how the meta description or the page description is written. Here are some examples where I was looking at Cincinnati squash. One of my clients is the T Squash Academy, and I had done some key research or keyword research, and you can see here in each title there's one from the country club. They're talking about the courts. They're talking about a private club. Contact for membership information. Nice call to action there. And then we have the one for the T Squash Academy. Now, just so that you know what my thinking was behind this, when I did keywords and did my research, I found that a lot of people were looking up where to play squash because it's not a common thing to do. So play squash was the most relevant keyword, and I used it several times. I used it in the title, and then you'll see I used it in the page description, play squash at Cincinnati's premier 5-court facility. Squash lessons was another thing that was commonly researched, and you can see that it's actually highlighted here. So Google is understanding that this is an important and relevant search factor. So I included that in that as well. I should put a call to action, but I didn't do it back then. This is old. So you looked at that one, and then the last one. I like how this, it feels like it's talking to you. Test your reflexes in a squash game. New to the squash court, need a tune-up. They're asking questions and starting to get the viewer involved, and that feels like someone's talking to me. I like how that works. I think that would probably get a great response in terms of clicking. So don't feel like you have to be super uber straight and professional. You can also be very chatty. That's where I call it making it human and very interesting. So page description tips, keep it concise. I think 250 characters is the max that Google will show. You want to make sure all your good stuff is in the front. It should have an active voice and include a call to action. Make it relevant, match the content in your keyword. Always, always do that. And make sure that you include your focus keywords. You might need to write out a couple of these before you do it, but you'll start understanding what you're doing the more practice that you get. Now we're moving on to SEO on your page URL. Now, you may notice sometimes if you're copying your own URLs or looking at your web, your podcast, maybe titles and things like that, you'll see that it's really, really long. There is usually an option. I know there's definitely one in Wix, certainly one in Weebly, definitely one in WordPress, where you can have a little bit of control about what that URL looks like. So the default might be extremely long. It's always going to include the original web page URL, which is the www.com, but you can change the rest. So for instance, for the More Creative Juice website, the page that I have the workshops on, I made sure that I just shortened that down to just workshops. I did that primarily because it was easier for other people to understand where they were. There wasn't a whole bunch of extraneous words and information before that. But also the nice thing is that I can remember that URL really easily, and that's a link that I often send to people who ask about workshops. So I'm remembering that a little bit easily too. So you can see here, this was I Googled best podcasts, and on each one of these, they had best podcasts in their title. They had best podcasts in their page name, their URL. So another good thing to remember. A few URL tips, which we've talked about. You want to remove extra or non-relevant words and make it memorable and easy to understand. Now here, it's a little bit different in everybody's system, and I know WordPress is going to look different. This is my Wix. This is how I do it on Wix, but I thought I'd show you just so you can get a sense for what you're looking for. When you go into your website, you want to find the place where it lets you adjust the SEO. Sometimes that's in an advanced category, like if you have options and then it might say advanced and an arrow, go ahead and go to the advanced. It's probably in there somewhere. But here we go. I'm searching down. I go to the page that I want and then went to manage pages. In mine, I do the ... select page SEO. And here you can see where I'm going to start changing things. The title is at the top there, the description. You can even choose to hide it from search results, but that would be anti-SEO. And then you can change the title of the URL. And Wix shows you a really nice preview of what it's going to look like when when someone finds it on Google. So that is how easy it is. Obviously, the hard part is doing your research ahead of time, but you should be able to do it. It's not too tricky, and hopefully you're not too overwhelmed with all of this information. So I have a couple tips for you. One is to give yourself some time to practice and learn, and the other is start small and progress slowly. Just change a couple of things at a time, and maybe change something once a month. And then know that in this is a process, and it's a bit of a dark art, so you're going to keep tweaking and changing things as you go. So good luck to you. If you have any questions, you know you can go into our private Facebook groups. Just search Creative Juice, and we'll talk to you soon.